while our Altoids box is drying with the gesso on it, let's go to the inside of our little mermaid shrine, which what I do is I create a insert to go inside of the shrine. So let me see. If we look at it right here, you'll see that it's actually an insert in here. You can't tell because we paint around it and we blend with all the edges, but we created an insert. So I drew something and then I fit it right inside there. I glue it right inside. So that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to take our recycled cardstock, and we can use anything. I use an old file folder. And what I do is I'll use an Altoid box, put it down here, and I'll trace it all the way around. So that's what we did. And I made this little trace around. Don't worry about the quality of the paper or anything. We're going to be painting, drawing with it, so you don't have to worry about if it's exact or anything like this. This is very much an inexact science to measuring this. I fold it over too so that I can have two of these at the same time. So now I have two. And if I look at it, if I need to measure, it fits right in there. And that's just what I want it to do, right? So, and I can use one for one side. I don't have to use it for both sides. Like on this side, I didn't use anything. I kind of just stuck, I painted on top of it and then I stuck down my words. So, it's up to you. Drawing the mermaid definitely on a piece of paper will be a better option than trying to draw it directly on the tin. I don't think it'll stay. Okay, so now that we have our little drawing, we can go around the edges a little bit more and clean it up. Okay, we can just clean that up a little bit. Now what you can do is take your mechanical pencil, and I don't really have any easy way for you to think about how you're going to draw this mermaid. All I can say is that sometimes she's not going to be 100% perfect, you know, like, I don't know, I didn't get her breasts exactly the right size, did I? And maybe her hand's a little bit longer, but that's all the whimsical part of it. So don't worry about being perfect with this exercise. What we mainly want to do is, and you can have her hair be any way that you want it to be. I had an afro on this one, an afro mermaid, but you can have her hair long, you can have her hair, in fact, we'll do another one. So what I do is I take my mechanical pencil and my eraser, because I might be using it, and I just first start to draw almost like a half V. This half V is going to be her face. I don't draw all the way around, but you could if you wanted to. But it's a half V. From the half V, I kind of just draw a neck on both sides. Kind of longish, not very long. And then from there, I'm thinking about her shoulders. Now one side is a little bit, has more space than the other, so it's going to take a little practice. But you could draw her shoulder out this way, down halfway. Let's look at this part, it's her elbow. And this is the other side. And we might just draw her elbow right here. Think about her elbow being right there. But we're going to have this arm go up. So, you know how the elbow kind of creases a little bit? We'll have the arm go up, and you know where the hand starts? There's always just that little part in your hand. So we're just going to make that. It may seem long. That might be long. We're going to go back to it. It's freehand, so you have to kind of get your proportions right. What helps is if you start to draw her breasts. So one hook there, one hook there. Pretty even. You can go back over this with a pen. And then you want to kind of make her waist. There we go. And then you can kind of imagine that her arm is tucked behind her hips, which are pretty big in this case, because mermaids are pretty hippie, you know what I mean? They got a lot of hips. And we can just draw her tail, kind of like that. We might actually have to do more, like we might want to go that way and erase. See, I erase too. This is, like I said, freehand. You see it, but sometimes you gotta make adjustments, and that's okay. We all do it. All artists do it. Some of us are better at freehand than others. So I'm thinking her arm is a little long. Let's shorten it. We don't want to go too short, but we don't want it to be that long. And don't worry about having it show, because we're gonna let's like have her arm be about there. And let's just draw it like that. Then let's just reinforce that her tail is kind of coming this way. And like I said, don't worry about it because we're going to paint all this. So we kind of connect her hip and her tail. And her tail is kind of just going up at an angle. Like I said, you can be creative with this. Some people might want to draw her tail completely different, and that's going to be up to you. So remember how I said I would draw the afro? If you wanted to draw her an afro, then you would just start, I'm going to do it lightly, you would just do like something like this. Take it from where the chin connects, and then you would just do that if you want to draw an afro. But what if we wanted to do a different hairstyle? We don't want an afro mermaid. I don't know who wouldn't want an afro mermaid, but some people don't. So maybe we just want her to have long, wavy hair. She can have long, wavy hair. You would just kind of like do her hair like that. Draw little waves. Okay? So there she is. There is your prototype of your mermaid. Now, you know, we did some erasing and stuff, but we're going to end up coloring that. So, maybe we just accent her waist with a pencil too. But no further details than that are needed. So now that we have our mermaid, let's color her in. And that's when all of our gel pens come in really handy. We have a lot of gel pens here that we can use. And we got to think about a background color for her. Maybe we want it to be blue like the ocean. And so we have a regular blue gel pen. What I like about gel pens, by the way, is that the ink is really smooth. Once it dries, you can apply different colors over it, and it layers. It doesn't blend that much. So it's really a great, once you've used these pens, you become addicted to them. They're really great. They're not super expensive, but they can be. So let's just start drawing around the outline of her. We're not going to draw inside, we're just going to draw around the outline of her with blue. Don't worry about messing up. People, we're in a free flow. This is supposed to be a less stressful type of exercise. It's not really about being perfect. All you do is that you follow the line that you just drew. And imagine this is going to be, she's in water. So we're just drawing the water around her. The water is going to be outlined around her. That's how it's going. And with the pen, you don't have to color in solid, and I'll tell you why. Because you're going to go back with other colors and add a little more texture. So just trace around her body a little bit. You can choose to be very solid with this, or you can just kind of half color it through, leaving some blank edges. But kind of outline her body. And you see, when we outline her body, we're able to just adjust some of those proportions that we were trying to get right with the pencil. You see how that all works? So you don't have to worry about being perfect with your pencil, because it's going to get any, erasers will get covered up. Just color her in. Follow the little hairline, but don't color in that. Now you notice that we kind of have like a little space between her arm and her tail, so you want to get that with your marker as well. A little space right here between her waist and her arm, so you want to get that as well. You see how she's turning out? Okay. I don't know if you see that or not. There you go. So now we can start with a different color. I use a lot of this color. It's this nice metallic blue. It's very beautiful. And we could just go back around and create some shimmer around her. You know, like the ocean is not monotoned, as we know. It's got different hues of blue. And when you start thinking more creatively, and if you want to think more like an artist, even though you already are one, if you want to think more like an artist, you go out and you observe the different hues of color. Things are not just green, they're not just blue. There's frosty blue, there's deep blue. And you make note of how that shows up. Nature shows you that all the time. So in nature, we'll see all the different hues of color. So remember those spots where I told you we could just color them in with different colors and layer? That's what we're doing. We're just layering on top and creating kind of this ocean feel for her. Coloring around the edges. So there we go. Beautiful. Color around there. Alright. So again, we have like a little bit of that hue, different hues of blue happening right now. Okay. So we kind of make sure you kind of let it dry in case your fingers start to smudge some of the ink. You don't want to get it over the parts you don't want it on. So here's a pen that I like using for flesh tone colors, and flesh tone is like controversial, right? We have all kinds of tones of flesh, so you can choose whatever color you want for her skin tone. It can be green or purple. I'm going to use this nice cinnamon sparkly color. So and don't worry if you do get some smudges. Like I said, the ink it covers in layers, so don't worry about it. I kind of just hold it with my finger here because it is a small piece of paper. And let's just go for her face. And you know what I do is I kind of move my pen in circular fashions and I let it dry. Like I kind of give some definition, even though I don't make faces like noses and mouths. I might dot it a little, let it dry, and then go over it a little. Like give her a little different, how do you say, textures of color with the same pen. So that way you don't have to use a different pen. Just kind of like the way that you're even moving the ink with the pen, you'll create different darker spots and lighter spots. Don't worry about covering up any of the pencil. We're just going to follow along the lines. See how it's kind of circular in some spaces where it makes sense to make it circular. You know, like on her breast, that makes it it makes sense to go circular with the pen. So let the ink just kind of flow. And then we're going to color in her arm. Might use some longer strokes there. Okay, so her body's colored in, and if you wanted to, you can start giving some definition.